think the problem again is that if it is that someone didn't go by the new procedures, you ground the planes and study the procedures and make everyone take some sort of course, do something. I mean, I think that Boeing's big problem is that Boeing doesn't know anything that is wrong. FAA doesn't know anything that's wrong. It's not like someone's saying, okay, and here's what's wrong. So, right. I mean, they're in a tough spot. What are they going to recall and say, look, we have no belief anything's wrong, but we're going to recall and shut down our planes. And what we're going to do is look at them, and we're going to find out that nothing's wrong. So what is Boeing supposed to do? You're Boeing. Do you just say, look, look, if we have anything wrong with our planes, this company's a 100-year reputation. If we have anything wrong with our planes, they would say, let's ground them. I mean, what good does it do to say, let's just fly them anyway?
The New York Times reporting, I think it was yesterday, while you and I were talking about Boeing, the president apparently on the phone with Mr. Muhlenberg.
Yeah, how do you
Boeing,
like that?
Who was imploring him not to have the FAA ground the planes. That, again, is the reporting of the Times.
Yeah, he did also indicate about the kind of a difficulty. Planes are hard.
Yeah, Trump did in a tweet yesterday about the technological advances of planes.
They said that to the Wright brothers.
And somehow
they've been going with that Wright brothers route.
To difficulty, of course, as Phil LeBeau pointed out yesterday, the advance in technology has done nothing but make planes
the B-29
safer.
Was hard to fly.
But the FAA also, the Times pointing out, a lot of it is actually in-house. The review and the safety review, to a certain extent, of these systems is done by
self-review.
Yes.
Again, though, what is Boeing like? Like, do you think that there's a group of people at Boeing who say, "Oh man, we're almost discovered," when they find out that we hid? No,
of course.
Now there is a problem. They changed something. We all know that. I still can't believe after the first crash that there was anybody who didn't say, "Listen, we got to change this," because a crash. I mean, these guys. There's no one who's idle when it comes to the Ethiopian. It's a good airline. So, I mean, I'm sure, if we hear that everybody was trained to do the switch, then we know that the switch isn't working.
Well, what's different here is that the United States, historically, really since the advent of aviation, sets the global standard for what's airworthy and what's not.
Right.
And now you have the U.S. and Canada standing alone. And there's a Jeffries analyst being quoted today saying it's a rebellion against the FAA.
Well, I think that David, I've been thinking a lot about what David asked me yesterday, which is that, is there a gang up? Is there just a group of people who say, listen, we've had it with the U.S. We've had it with Boeing.
Does it play into the larger
the national
hostility or lack of camaraderie that there is between the U.S. and many of its allies?
That's what I've been pondering that all night.
Yeah.
And I just said, you know what, in some cases maybe, but I also know that there are a lot of people who were on air yesterday who said, I don't want to fly this plane. I don't want to be in this plane.
Nightly News did a whole spot on how to tell if your equipment is going to be a MAX 8.
People are not going to want to fly the plane.
No.
Or fly in it. As safe as it may be.
I'm flying to Texas this weekend.
So then,
boy, my arm's tired. I mean, that's how I feel now.
What is that going to be?
Yeah, the Flight Attendants Union asked.
No, I mean, it's obvious.
Southwest and some others. Actually, it was, I think, ALPA's been pretty supportive.
But again, Muhlenberg, he can recall them, and he can have people crawling all over them. But what do you think he's been doing ever since they put the plane out? I mean, honestly, could you put yourself in their shoes? I mean, what is he supposed to say? Wow, you know what? I'm really worried, but I'm not worried.
All right, fine. But what about the shoes of the FAA at this point, given every other government almost, not to mention a lot of the senators, the president at least questioning the technology. I mean, what do you do if you're the FAA at this point? Why not just say fine? Why not just say fine?
Because what happens? Let's just take these all out of service?
Yeah. Until we know the answer.
But they're not going to. Well, okay, I would love to hear an answer.
And then when we know the answer.
We're going to talk to Ray LaHood in an hour.
Well, he said yesterday on our air, Carl, that they should take it out of service.
Yeah,
so we know where he stands.
That was suboptimal for Boeing.
Yeah.
But I am caught with this idea that there is a perception that Boeing is dodging everybody.